So, welcoming you into this day and into this beauty, I titled my talk, You Are a Living Crystal. And the reason is because I wanted to drip down a particular aspect of the breath as we are looking at this year's theme is time for healing. And as we take this time for healing and we look at the power of the breath, as a breath worker, one of the things that I've been moved by over the years, as I've been learning from the breath itself every day, moment to moment, is that the healing doesn't just happen in one place or at one time. In yoga, they call it practicing at the mat, that when you're doing yoga, you're doing it on the mat, but what happens to the yoga the rest of the day? And so I feel we are evolving with our utilization of the conscious breath in a way where what is your breathing doing right now? Right now. And the ability to take it deeper. Can you see my screen or not yet? Gonna do a share screen. Oh, Nayada, can you make it so I can share my screen again?
Okay, I think I need to make you host for that since we.
That's fine. We'll keep it rolling. Still not yet. Can you let me know when you've made me host?
Your host.
Okay, thank you. So, and so this concept that we're a living liquid crystal is that I'm not saying that just to be eloquent or to be flashy, but if you look moment to moment, we don't go home and we plug the electric socket of ourselves into the wall. We're quite wireless, but we take it for granted that you carry light like a crystal does. Isn't it true? The way the sunlight affects us, the way we are when we're not in our circadian rhythm, it's run on light. And so this aspect of being a living liquid crystal, liquid, look at your eyes. Don't they look like a liquid crystal display in both directions? How beautiful that when you open your eyes, the screen appears and the liquid crystal display of amazingness that is life is in front of you. And so this aspect of us that we carry light, and we not only carry light, but we amplify light, we focus light, and we celebrate with light. Oh, look at the fireworks. Look at the lights. We listen to music, we go to a concert, the lights. But we easily take for granted this aspect of our being, this base part of us that runs on light. You have facets that you face outward for us to see and feel your light, and inner facets that only you can see, just like a crystal. We are quite beautifully made of consciousness, life force, water, and space. And if you look for a moment, water and space both vibrate. Air vibrates, we can hear it, it becomes music. And so the space inside of us is dictated, how we're living is dictated by how much light we're carrying. And if you just look for a moment at the base element of the water, right? Look at the snowflake and see again this crystalline formation. It's more magnificent than we've been led to accept or to celebrate. And so I bring this concept to you so that as breath workers or enthusiasts of the breath and the conscious breath, we can take the practice off of the mat. You know, many things, many fields that we would study as we would study as humans will go learn one way first, and then it will become more prolific over time. How beautiful to watch that happen with breath work. And so I ask you right now, how are you breathing? And if you're a breath worker that only works with the breath you can't hear, I've noticed certain approaches where the breath has been made to be really gentle, beautiful, but is it one word in a large sea of language, a beautiful vocabulary that if I look at myself as a crystal, living crystal, changing my way of being from moment to moment to moment, what does that now mean for my breath, which is the fuel of the life force? The fuel is the life force. You've heard the names perhaps prana, chi, kai, or chai. These are not the breath. You may have thought that was the word for breath in Hindu, prana, or in the Far East in China, chi. But they are not. They're not the words for breath. They are the words for the energy riding on the breath. And so life force enters us and then doesn't leave. It enters so as to be utilized as energy and to metabolize more energy. And so in the creation accounts of earth, why was it was said, just borrowing from Genesis 2:7 in the Bible here, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Every one of these versions has a breathed the breath of life into man, and man became a living soul. Now, whether you attribute the creation to this story or not, doesn't matter. Looking back at the creation accounts where they tie in the breath in more than one place on the planet comes of interest, because if we look at ourselves not just as a human, but as a living soul, a liquid crystal that moment to moment to moment is changing. Has anyone seen spontaneous remission of cancer? Yes, we've seen that. Why did it work for that person? Was it magic? Or was there something about the moment to moment liquid crystal being that that person leaned into with whatever it was, a practice, looking at the life force as medicine? To borrow from Otto Warburg, who won the Nobel Prize for Medicine back in the 30s, he said that a cell could become cancerous in 48 hours if you do two things: deprive the cell of half of its oxygen and then increase fermented sugar. Whoa. So what would happen to the cancer rate if a bunch of people increased sugar and decreased their breathing? Boom, there it is. And yet, all of us carry a certain amount of what they call cancer in our body, and it's fluctuating all the time. It's only when it reaches a certain degree do they then say, you have this diagnosis. And so I bring to you this concept to change your approach, that the breathing, the breath work, even if you practice one modality and it's practiced on the back, what is it we're missing in the part of life where we're sitting up? What is it that has been passed on by those that came before us that allows us to shift our thinking around moment to moment healing? You are a living liquid crystal. Being aware of your breath forces you into the present moment, the key to all inner transformation, says Eckhart Tolle. Dr. Andrew Weil shared, there's no limit to what working with the breath can accomplish. My own firsthand experiences with this natural healing method have convinced me that breathing well may be the master key to good health. And so, for yours truly down here, Jesus and Buddha did not build churches or temples. They realized that when you make each breath holy, you become the temple. And so the invitation to go moment to moment with your prana, your chi, and realize the crystal, Buddha shared, if you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. No matter how little your light is, let it shine. What did this mean? The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy body shall be full of light. One of the beautiful teachers I studied with, Dr. Acharya Yogi, shared conscious breathing, if it does anything, gets body, mind, and breath moving in one powerful direction. And I don't say that to be the new agey and leave it up in the air. What I mean, body, mind, and spirit moving in one direction. If you're sitting at a table and your leg is tapping the ground and your mind's thinking about what you're doing later and your breath is doing a third thing, that's you moving in three directions. And how powerful would we be if split in three? So the invitation to, if thine eye be single, thy body shall be full of light, is a beautiful concept if you're thinking of us as a crystal. So look at that snowflake, let it reflect into you this aspect of us that is a living liquid crystal, that moment to moment to moment, that which you see there is moving around inside you. And so the invitation, as I say here, let's amplify our light, permitting into the body, permitted into the body by taking in more life force efficiently and often. And that's what breath work helps us do. Life Force Mastery, the modality I teach, teaches situational breath work, where moment to moment, we're tapping in and in a different way. And so what is this for? If you look at how a person's breathing, what is a deep blowing for? What is that for? We must ask. What is this for? Notice I'm in full control of that. What is, I'm taking a few gestures. I'm not teaching any of them at this point, but I'm just showing that each of these is a pathway through your living liquid crystal, and that it is up to you as a being to just be interested in, yeah, what does that mean when I blow out on purpose? Because many of us, if we become too full, have a difficult moment, you'll see the person blow. They'll have a difficult moment. But what's it like to move blowing the air out of our mouth into the cause column, where because I'm noticing myself, I'm aware, oh, let me take this breath and release deeply on a blow. Join me. Everyone inhale and blow out long. And breathe in. Open the mouth, exhale on an H. And so, gonna just drop one of my favorite techniques here at the end as I'm closing, that in looking at a moment to moment shift of this liquid crystal that you are, taking a single breath can change things. Taking a set of breaths can take you in a whole different direction. But if you don't know that, you might not do it. And so I work with a lot of different people, different backgrounds, but all of them have benefited from technique called Sudarshan Kriya, also known as the 4462. And if you're going to memorize it, memorize the numbers rather than the name, and you'll remember what you need to do with it forever. It's an inhale of 4 counts, a hold of 4 counts, an exhale of 6 counts, and a hold out of 2. And so check in with the posture right now, and we're going to do 8 of these breaths and see where it takes the liquid crystal that is you. That if you came upon a moment and then you chose to shift by just doing this technique, you can see that it tunes our energy down, takes away any affinity to move towards anxiety, goes away. And so checking in with the posture, all the breaths through the nose, allowing Ujjayi breath, if you know what that is, the hiss in the back of the throat as you exhale. And so inhaling setup breath, breathe it in. Begin by blowing out a setup breath. Blow it out. Closing the mouth. Here we go. And inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it in. 2, 3, 4. Exhale out the nose, nice and long. 4, 5, 6. Hold it out for 2. Breathe it in. Hold it in. Exhaling. 5, 6. Hold it out for 2. Breathe it in. Hold it in. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 6. Hold it out for 2. Breathe it in. Hold it in. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 5, 6. Hold it out for 2. Breathe it in. Hold it in. Exhale. 5, 6. Hold it out for 2. Breathe it in. Hold it in. Exhale. Hold it out for 2. Breathe it in. Hold it in. Exhale. 5, 6. Hold it out for 2. And feel as we take this last minute of my share to focus out. Breathwork often has us focusing here on our body temple. Beautiful. And we, as a human family, can remember also to focus out in our healing practice. Celebrate in your stillness and in that calm that breathwork might have brought you just a moment ago, that technique, Sudarshan Kriya 4462. We call it equilibrium in the modality I share, life force mastery. And so as we take the next few breaths consciously, as the liquid crystal, as that which can change moment to moment. Have you been given a diagnosis? Release it and see what can change moment to moment to moment. Be that which can have a miraculous healing. And now focus it out to the world. Take your palms with me, breathe it in. Blow it out, give it away. Sweep your palms through the field, breathe it in. Blow it out, give it away. Breathe it in. Blow it out, give it away. Breathe in, World Breathing Day. Blow out, bless the world. Last breath here, breathe it in, family. And blow it out, give it away. Feel what you just created. Feel us tapping in to the field and enjoy the creation. We are creating half-hour segments this year to share more of the wonderful community we have. And so thank you for letting me share. on you being a liquid crystal.